Hello and welcome. I'm the Restless Kaiser.
And I'm James Workshop.
But together we are Modelling for Advantage. It's a beautiful sound, it's a beautiful mouse. So, Rattenkrieg, the War of the Rats.
It certainly is.
New box army from Ball Action for 3rd edition. And it's the army made up of the new German veterans. It's not on the front, it's on the front, not on the back. So do you want to read what's in it?
I will, yes. I certainly will.
Using your young eyes.
We got 36 of your German infantry.
Boom.
We got 3 officers, an NCO, a medic, and a radio operator, all Saracast. We got a resin and metal miniature for a machine gun team and a mortar team. We've then got that's a Panzerwagen, right?
222. That's the machine gun or 20mm armored car.
Thank you very much. We've got Panzer IV. BC or D.
The early
and we've
one.
got a bunch of stuff. Plastic bases, stat cards, that kind of thing.
Decals, the bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Alright, do you want to...
Am I cracking in?
We could have pre-cut this, but I want to show that you're a rookie, James. You got nails.
I got nails.
Oh, so manly. Did you see how he did that?
Easy. Been doing this for years.
It's because he used to be a soldier, you see.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's why I paint my nails to this day.
Alright. So we'll toss the stuff out, then we'll sort it. I mean, I didn't quite mean like that. So that is the 222.
Yep.
That is the mortar and machine gun.
That's a Panzer IV.
The bases have come with heads.
They do.
We'll talk about this in more detail. And then
shall we bang this out?
Screwage. That's some Saracast resin, is it?
Certainly is.
Panzer IV.
Are these the new sprues, sir?
These are new.
The new
yes.
sprues,
1,
sir.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, 6 per.
Weapons team bases.
And another one. Don't know why we need 5 of those. Let's find out.
More bases.
More bases for the officers, presumably.
Not the lit base.
A snipery horsey base.
Snipery horsey base. I'm going to go sniper rather than horse in this instance.
We got your book of how to put together a Panzer IV.
Oh, not just a sheet. We get a booklet.
Booklet, including colorations. Different colorations. Look at that, little booklet.
Yes.
And then I hope they never stop making these. The little, this is what a soldier should look like booklet.
Yes.
Pamphlet.
Now, it's not instructions, but it is a labelling key of all of the items. We're going to look at those in a minute. Packed by...
Oh, sorry. Morella.
We all know Morella packs best. She does the bestest and the mostest. All right, we're going to sort these out. We'll be right back. Should we start with the most complicated thing in the box?
Yes.
The Panzer IV BCD. You were a little bit disappointed because you were like, BCD, that must be all of them, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I know that it went up to like I or something stupid, but they kept trying. Never
Definitely a GH, I think, the Panzer IV.
Yeah.
BCD are all early Panzer IVs. There will be differences, and actually, when we look at this kit, there are 2 different upper hulls on here for the 2 different ones. You can see the turret is slightly offset.
Yep.
I think on one of them. But these are all still with the KWK 7.5 centimeter L24. I've told many of you before, but if you're new here, the L number after a German gun is its length in calibers.
Okay.
So L24 means it's 24 times as long as the caliber of it.
Oh, fun. Okay.
So it's a good way of gauging whether it's a high or low velocity gun, the L number. So, yeah.
A big number.
The bigger the number after the L,
Big
the
gun.
higher velocity it is. Long gun. Long gun means high velocity because the pressure is in the tube for longer, etc. So these are all with the howitzer. So this is the original support tank, and it gives us a bit of a feel for the box because when you look at the German veteran infantry, which we will do, they are suitable for use throughout the whole war. But Panzer IV B, C, and D are all 1939, 1940. By 41, with the Soviet invasion, you're getting the Fs where you're seeing the up-gunning and the up-armoring and the skirts and those kind of things start appearing in 41, 42. So this is more of a Blitzkrieg era type Panzer IV.
I do find that quite interesting that it says this force is suitable for 1939 to 1945 on the front. And then this booklet immediately tells me they stopped using these in 41.
These ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So a lot of these are actually pre-war. And the thing about the Panzer IV was it was a bit slower to get going than Panzer III, I think. There were really quite small numbers of these early Panzer IVs.
It says 42 were produced.
Right. Okay. Oh, you got the book and it's got the words.
Yeah, it's got words on it.
Really quite small
200
numbers.
eventually.
Right. It's really when you get to Panzer IV, the later Fs, always something called the F2s, are the Panzer IV that you recognise, of which they build another 10,000 of kind of derivatives of. Yeah. So this is an early one. It's quite a rare tank. It's a nice one to have. And in game, it's interesting because it doesn't have an anti-tank gun. It has a HE gun.
Okay. Makes sense for the time.
The card is double-sided. It has Panzer IV. Yeah, so this is what I was saying, because the stats in game for all these are the same.
Right.
B through F, all the same stats.
Same thing.
Got the short gun.
Yeah.
G and H.
That's the one people want.
It's got the big gun. But the point about the HE gun then is it's a light howitzer, which means it's 2-inch HE.
It's got a blast.
Yeah, with a blast effect.
That's HE.
And a range of 48.
Nice.
And it can fire indirect, which is something you can't do with most tank guns. So it's kind of interesting to have a howitzer on it rather than... As a kit, then, it follows the same kind of format as a lot of them. Because of the kind of... the Panzer IV... If you see a picture, it's quite a strange tank in terms of the deck isn't level with kind of the top of the tracks. There's another raised platform. And what that means is to build it here, there's an extra step. So you've got the upper deck, because unlike most tank constructions, you put the canoe, you put the upper deck on it, and then normally you put a turret on.
Yeah, that's it, done.
But you've actually got this other bit.
Yeah.
Most wargamers probably don't care, but these are different for the particular different versions.
There's a BC one and there's a D one.
So, you know, if it matters to you, they've provided that option. If you can't find your gun very easily, it's here. It's a very short-barreled howitzer.
It's stuck on another bit by the looks of it, but it is tiny.
Yes, so I was looking for that bit because that's the interesting bit about the early Panzer IVs with the short barrels is it rests on top of like a D-shaped ring, that gun. Or it looks like it does. There's a little metal plate below it in a D shape.
There's a metal plate here.
No, that's
the not what we're looking for, yeah.
No, it's this.
Ah, there we go.
This bracket here, I think, is it. So there's this strange sort of D-shaped, very thin piece of metal under it. And first I thought, has that got something to do with range finding, optics? And then I met a guy at Darksphere who was a bit of a grognard. I said, what that actually does is it knocks the aerial out of the way. Because it's a really short-barreled gun.
Genius.
The gun doesn't necessarily knock the aerial out of the way, and it can damage the aerial in firing.
Oh my God.
So this bracket that comes out just pushes the aerial out of the way when they're firing.
Fantastic. No other army in World War II would have done that.
Nobody else would have shot the aerial off.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't care.
Right. So if you've ever... And I wondered for years what this weird little bit of metal was under it, because it's too thin to have any structural purpose. Like, oh, right, yeah. When they rotate the turret, it knocks the turret out of the way. Yeah. But other than that, it's a relatively low parts count. The turret is assembled in it because it's quite an unusual shape. It's not just like blob the whole thing on top. There are cheek plates and a back and a front to it. So there's a little bit of assembly. Like all of these kind of things, build them in sub-assemblies. Like build the turret, let it dry before you stick it on. Your tracks are in 2 parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
not more though, which is nice.
Which is good. But the bit to watch out for these, and again, many of you have heard me say this a million times, when you glue these together, there is a chance that the lower one will sag by gravity, just by leaving it. So when you come pinch those together, secure them, especially if you're using a plastic glue, it's just gravity is naturally going to want to create a small gap there. It's not the end of the world if you get one, but not getting it in the first place is a better solution. It's just a trick for it. And actually, it's not. Look, there's some other pieces.
There's a little extra round for the corners.
It's in 3 parts. I'm just wondering about keying as well on the canoe, because it looks like the running gear, is it keyed? Because there is a front, there is a right and a wrong way round.
This is what we're looking for, right? The tracks mount to these.
Yeah, on the back, is there any kind of lug?
No, but there's gaps where there aren't lugs. Not by the looks of it.
Yes, there is here.
Have you got it there? Oh, okay, you got it there.
I'm looking at this because
this, though?
Yes.
Yeah, right,
no, because there's the drive wheel and the idler wheel. It's not consistent whether they're at the front and back on different tanks.
Okay, right.
So keying the hull to attach where you attach the road wheels is important unless you have definite knowledge of which way around it goes. So this is going to make sure you get it on the right way around, because I've definitely done that wrong. So it's a little bit more involved than some of their tank kits. It's because of the shape of the turret and things, but not much. This is still like a 20-25 piece kit.
Yeah.
It builds into a lovely model. I had no problems with mine.
Excellent. Really
like it. It's an interesting and versatile tank, but it is an early one.
Yeah. There's only 250 of them ever made by the looks of it between the models.
Between the various models.
Yeah, and they stopped being used before Stalingrad, when this is really...
Yeah, so
I would expect this box to be used for that kind of era.
So then the initial plan for the German tanks, 1 and 2 are tests to how do you build a production tank at scale. People often think that the Panzer II is a light tank. It's not. It's a crap tank. What we're making as an interlude between, because we made trains and motorbikes, and then we wanted to make a tank in these places.
Not the same.
Not the same. So the Panzer I is the first test. The Panzer II is never intended to be a service vehicle. They're going to be training vehicles where we learn how to build at scale. Panzer III is going to be the gun version, the tank versus version. And Panzer IV is the support version, which is why it's got a howitzer. It's going to deal with pillboxes, anti-tank positions, things like that, is the plan. As the war goes on and guns get bigger, because tanks get bigger, Panzer III can't hold a bigger gun than the 50mm. Just the structure. The turrets look very similar, but you can't... So what happens is Panzer III stops being the gun tank. And I think Panzer IV is slightly wider, and that just makes all the difference in terms of scalability.
Right, gotcha.
It can take a 75mm long gun. So it becomes the mainstay tank later.
Right.
But not this one, which is why the small numbers, because it's just designed for role specific.
Yeah. And then a role it didn't end up doing.
And a role that it didn't end up doing, absolutely.
Shall we have a look at the SDKFZ 222 and 223 Panzer Paarwagen?
Panzer Sparwagen?
Yeah, Panzer Paarwagen. Lightly armoured reconnaissance vehicle. Yes.
So SDKFZ is German for like military special purpose vehicle.
We done a car thing, but for the army.
Well, no. Tanks. Everything's got an SDKFZ number.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it was a PZKF number.
It is also, but it still has an SDKFZ number.
Oh, okay. Like everything American has an M number.
Yes. And they refer to them by the M numbers.
Sure do.
It's an M4 what? Because you've got an M4 of everything. Right, so these are the sprues for this. This is more involved as a model kit. It's quite an unusual shape. I love the German 222 armoured car.
Yeah.
Just as a thing, just as a dinky little. It's like, draw me an armoured car, Mr. 7-year-old. He's going to draw a car with a gun on the top, and it's going to look like that
with armour and big tyres.
Big tyres, armour. It's going to look like that.
Okay, it must be a complex kit because I'm looking at that and looking at this, and I can't work out
where some of the pieces go. So you have this again. You have this canoe.
Yeah.
And then you have this upper surface here.
Oh, I see. It's just tiny.
It's just tiny.
Oh, now I'm with it.
Right. But if you see, look, we've got axles and stuff down here. So this is a simple model kit rather than a wargaming kit, I would say. And what that means is you have things on here that you don't need, like the axle structure underneath the vehicle, which you would never see.
Yeah.
But again, I have built one of these. It's not a terribly involved model, but there are more small parts. This is more a 40-piece model. It can get a little bit fiddly in places. Like everything, wet glue, dry fit everything first. But you can put like interior furniture in this.
Yeah. I don't know why you would.
Well, it is technically, there. It's not. Some of them even have a gearbox on. I don't remember if this one did.
God.
And drivers.
In case you can see it through the vents or something.
Well, sometimes the same pieces are used in kits where there are open top versions of this.
Oh, okay, right.
For example,
this one's got this tiny thin rail that looks like it's going to break in the box. Never mind on the model.
That is an aerial.
That's an aerial?
That's an aerial look. You see that picture?
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that helps remind you how primitive radio technology is.
Yeah, but this one's got an aerial as well, and it ain't one of them.
Yeah, but that's for a commander. That's a command vehicle.
Right.
So in the game, you have the option of taking this. The 222 and the 223 is what to do with the unit cards. It's just the armament. I think the 222 is the machine gun, and the 223 is the 20mm cannon.
It's something I say far more often than I expect to say. A tank from 1945 is a car from 1945, but worse. It's an old car.
Right.
If you think about how well you expect a car from 1945 to run, and then scale that thing up and up, and then strap as much armour onto it as you think you can get away with.
All right, yes. How reliable do you think this thing is?
How reliable do you think? Yeah, you've just invented the electric start 3 years ago, so most people are doing this still.
But yes, one of the things with the T-34 is the Germans didn't believe that the Russians could make a diesel tank. They didn't believe that they could make a diesel engine that was like more than would run a child's bicycle.
I'm sure it took a team of 20 engineers, but they did drive the T-34 like 100 miles just to say we could.
Yeah. Because I think the diesel engine is maybe like 10 years old, like, as a concept.
Just conceptually, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very new technology. So it's a bit more involved, but it's a beautiful vehicle. These are in service in small numbers in the late war, but they're there right from the beginning. I think it's maybe a 1936 vehicle, something like that. Yeah. It comes out of that early specification.
Yeah.
It's around for a long time. And a great addition to a wargaming force because it's cheap, it's a recon vehicle, but a 20mm cannon is not a total joke.
No.
In terms of you get to take a couple of shots with it, and it's got a 1-inch template, I think.
Yeah,
with
a light auto kind
2
of
shots
HE1,
and some penetration. It's actually quite good at killing dudes.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah.
Because you put those templates down, you can hit quite a few guys with a penetration value.
And an MG, never going to say no.
And an MG, absolutely.
Recce.
So there you go. Fun. And it's just iconic. It's just iconic. Does it say in here year of production? No.
It doesn't. It says they only ever made 2,394 of them, though.
Yeah, which for a vehicle that's in service for a long time isn't many.
No.
But it is a recon vehicle.
Yeah. This isn't coming into combat with anything big most of the time.
It's intended not to.
It's like most early war tanks. Great against people.
It's very good against
pretty
people.
Pretty much unstoppable.
Yes. Now, late war, you can look at some of the German reconnaissance vehicles and be like, this is an extremely expensive platform for that gun. So doctrinally, British recon certainly thought that their job was to recon.
Yeah.
Their job was to sneak about and spot things and tell us what's going on. Whereas the Germans in the panzer formations always seem to be like equipped and prepared to fight for it. They're like, we're going to do recon by shooting at that place and see what comes out.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to handle some of it. So you get these kind of recon vehicles with 75mm guns on in German forces, which you don't really see in other people's forces.
No.
But also in the late war, the reconnaissance battalion in a German panzer division became one of the elements around which they'd build a Kampfer group.
Okay.
Because it was motorized, it was armored, and
the most reliable vehicles are all in this one place.
Probably more reliable, yeah. But still, the number of panzer divisions is never as big as you think, and then and they've only got one recon battalion in them.
Just because they're represented constantly on the battlefield.
Absolutely.
Now in plastic.
But in the mainstream of the German army, the reconnaissance is dudes on horses, or maybe motorbikes. And cars.
That makes sense. You could confuse them for just someone going about their day. You can confuse that for someone going about their day.
But what I'm saying about that kind of this particular vehicle, because it's early, I think it's quite undergunned compared to some of those late war. Like the iconic Puma with its long 50mm gun.
Yeah, not this 20mm auto cannon.
But when this is fighting in the desert, The British armoured car that it comes up against is the Rolls-Royce armoured car, which is a World War I vintage thing with, I think, solid tyres rather than pneumatic ones, and a Vickers machine gun with a bit of wobbly boilerplate in a turret-like thing. So compared to that, this is a pretty sophisticated vehicle.
Now imagine a car from 1918.
From 1914?
Yeah.
The Rolls-Royce and Lanchester armoured cars are in the desert, or some of those Morris ones.
Okay.
So
now
what this is up
British
against...
car from 1914 in the desert.
In 1939-40.
Yeah. It's already 25 years old.
So
it wasn't good when it started.
It's still got a kind of German philosophy of quite powerful armoured vehicles, but still useful to live well. And a great addition to any German army, because you can dump it down at any point in the war and it's a cheap little vehicle.
Yeah.
Do like it. Great inclusion in this box. The only box we've had that in before was the Desert box.
Ah, okay.
Because in the scheme of things, it's a new kit. It's like 2 years old, something like that.
Oh, okay, that is new. All right, for plastic Warlord kits, that's the last 10.
Yeah. That's
Nice.
That's pretty new. We do get some decal sheets for these vehicles. No, that's not. That's for the troops actually. So one of these will be for the armored car.
This is the Panzer IV. You've got the
That's
armored
the
car.
Panzer IV, and I've got the armored car. And it's a great decal sheet because there's far more Balkan crosses on here than you can literally saturate it in it. So if you're missing a few decals, and the thing with the vehicle, the armored car, is it's got number plates.
I'll have to get it closer.
Got to get closer.
I can see now. Yeah.
They got number plates,
And
on
it starts
them.
with WH. Doesn't end with 40k. Great.
And then before it it's Wehrmacht, WH. So that was that. So those are the vehicles. Nice. Good to see them following that to a vehicle. Did we mention the price?
We did
This
not.
is £104.
Yeah, the entirely unpredictable price of £104.
Two vehicles, and they're both of them not common to many of the other box sets. I don't know how new the Panzer IV early might be, because I think they used to do this in resin, actually. Now I can't think about it. That's the wrong one.
This is definitely not the Panzer IV. I think that one said 2018 on it.
Did it?
Yeah.
I remember at one point we were getting them in resin. The date's not printed on the script. I only think they used to give you a resin one in the German starter, the Blitzkrieg era one. I think you used to get a resin tank. I think that's a new release.
Oh, that's a good point. We've got an entire box here, and there's nothing you can stick in a sock and kill someone with.
There's no hard resin here. Yes. So we're gonna, as we move on to the troops, then we've got the infantry sprue, and there was a lot of Warlord resin in there. So have you managed to sort out the Warlord resin into the different constituent parts?
No.
Okay, so we've sorted out, you get a big pack of Warlord resin in this, and there's a few metal parts. I assume these metal components, they're quite thin. I assume that they're, at this stage of the kind of that Zercast technology probably isn't good. First thing to say about these, James, you'd seen some early Zercast stuff. Probably like everybody else, you thought was a bit crap.
Yeah.
These, I believe, to be genuinely new sculpts in a new formula. Honest impression?
They're lovely. Genuinely. So the first thing I noticed was that they're stiffer. They're a much harder material than it used to be. And the detailing on it, my first impression that I said to you was, I think this is probably better than metal now.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly. I think the metal has still got a huge place in wargaming, and that this is just kind of better than
It's when it's good.
Yeah.
The fidelity on it, especially like around fabrics and faces. If the original sculpt is good and works in Zercast, I think it's good. But I think these were some of the first figures, this kind of new range of the two-man weapon teams, the small weapon teams, all of that's been put into Zercast now for all the different armies. I've been handling a lot of this stuff now. I did not like early Zercast. No. It was bad.
It felt like the soft plastic you get in a board game. It did not feel like it was good to high quality material.
That's not what it's, I'm not telling you every piece of Warlord resin you ever buy forevermore is going to be great. I'm telling you that this new stuff that they've put out is good.
It's a huge
and like you say, I think it is better than many metals I've handled.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you that every one of these is better than any metal I've ever handled. But I would tell you that on the whole, I would say that this is generally better than the metals.
I'm not so far. I mean, this one's proven me wrong a little bit. So far, I haven't seen any egregious mold lines either. This one could be better. I've just picked that one up. But I remember in the early Sidecar stuff, you were like having to very carefully take a very sharp knife across some very bad mold lines.
Absolutely. So in here, we'll get you some pictures up from the Warlord website so you can see these better. So there's a command group which consists of an officer who's obviously reading from a menu, chips, yeah, cool. A radio guy with his radio thing, I like him, because he's potentially usable as a spotter, observer type character, air liaison officer. A guy with a radio is a thing. You've got this NCO in that iconic German NCO pose. This is, as in like holding his machine pistol out and pointing. People in charge point, right?
They do. This one's got a grenade. He's pointing with a grenade.
Oh, he's throwing the grenade.
Yeah.
Right. His left arm...
I might be wrong. He might just be doing that.
Is separate. Is it not just gesturing?
He's pointing very up, if he is pointing.
Yeah. Is it not just... I think it is.
May I
Go on, you've got younger eyes
or deny whether this person is holding a grenade. There is something in his hand.
Yeah?
I suspect it's a grenade.
Cool.
It's a grenade.
Cool. And then we've got the medic figure with the carrying the medical box. Or the medical leather satchel. Was there a tiny decal on there?
Is there another sheet? Oh, that's so tiny. Oh,
teeny weeny.
Oh.
You then get two identical MG34 teams. I'll say the MG34 and the tripod that stands on is in...
Sorry, I'm just sat here looking at a swastika and an eagle and going, oh. That ain't right.
That's not how you're supposed to feel about
you're supposed to react, but they're so small.
Yes.
Sorry, sir, carry on.
These pieces, I suspect, as I said earlier, I don't think these work well in these. It's a three-man team. They are identical, which is a little bit of a shame. But you've got the crewman who's firing it, somebody carrying a couple of boxes, and the belt being fed in, which is nice. This is the same MG34 they had in metal before.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
The new frigate crew figures, two of them going on the big round basis, and then we get what we're assuming this is the three-man mortar team.
Yeah, medium mortar team. Yeah, with a spotter, a fella who's holding the tripod, and another guy who's going.
But also like an open, is that an open mortar bomb case?
Yeah. And it's not all just lined up. There's one that's a bit loose in there as well.
That's nice. Plate, isn't it?
They'd be in a suitcase though, right? Rather than they'd be in a suitcase style case.
Nice little pieces.
Definitely.
So, it says it's for early, middle, late. I think that this is really Barbarossa. I don't even think it's Stalingrad because of the Panzer IV.
It's an early to a stretch middle.
It's an early to a stretch middle.
Yeah.
It's late early.
Because these are 34s and it's got the Panzer IV and it's
an early Panzer IV.
Yeah.
The 222, there are better armoured cars in 42. They're all in tunics.
Yeah.
As you know, I think the smock you start to see in 43. Maybe even in 42, I'm not sure. So just as it feels like the summer, we tend to think of Stalingrad as that bit in the winter.
We do, yeah.
But that's actually mostly when they surrendered. Yeah. It was all over by then. There's a whole campaign happens in the summer. There's an operation in the Crimea in the earlier part of the year. They need to finish that up before the main push on Stalingrad. It's another one of these what-if moments. You know, it's like, if they didn't do that and they'd gone straight for Stalingrad, would it have gone better? So if they didn't do that, they'd had a huge Russian army on their flank that they haven't dealt with. And that would have gone really badly for different reasons. They weren't. I don't think they were wrong in making the decisions they made. But there was a delay in starting, but there is a late summer campaign along is it the Volga?
Volga, yeah.
All on that. No, it's the Don. The Volga is the straight river that Stalingrad is on. The Don is the bulge leading up to it, isn't it? The Don Basin is the area of the campaign. It feels like it's that summer campaign in terms of the equipment that's here, the uniforms that they're wearing. You can use it for earlier or later. You love it?
Yeah, no, this box represents 4 months.
I'm not saying it, no.
In 1942.
In 1942. But could be at any point in the war.
It could be at absolutely any point.
I'm simply speculating I think it's the best fit for.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely fantastic for July to September 1942.
It is absolutely fantastic for that. Absolutely. You did mention briefly the uniform decals, just to say that they're there.
Yeah.
If you've not had a Warlord infantry box before and you've not seen one of these are things like epaulets and uniform markings, like rank insignia and divisional badges, regimental logos for the infantry. They make decal sheets for them. All I can see is a blur of black lines on that. And that's with reading glasses.
I'm sure there are words on here.
The problem is, James, is there are words on there. Yeah.
Versicht. And then even smaller.
And then even smaller.
Wow,
and they will be
ridiculous.
even for particular regiments.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they include that.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I can't see it, knowing that it's there. Knowing that it's there.
Yeah.
They do that for all of them.
Wow.
So the German veteran infantry sprue. This came out, I feel, just before Christmas.
Yeah. This one says 2024 on it.
It says 2024 on it. This sprue is fantastic.
It really is.
And it's fantastic because they never needed to make it.
No.
But we all wanted them to. Mm-hmm. They're calling it German veterans.
Whoa. Sorry. Plastic flamethrower. I've just caught that.
Right. So notionally what this is, these guys are in tunics, not smocks.
Mm-hmm. It's in any
They've
period.
They've got to feel
right?
that they will fit in any period, broadly speaking. Mm-hmm. But their best fit is the kind of 42, 41, 42, like into Russia. These are experienced, hard-charging campaigners. The Wehrmacht at its peak. Mm-hmm. And so what you've got here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different poses for German grenadiers.
Fantastic.
And then weapon options. There aren't loads of rifles on here because you don't use this on its own. Mm-hmm. You pad out your existing Germans with this.
Gotcha.
You can use this on its own, and that's why it's probably better as a kind of. It's called Rattenkrieg. But there's a lot of SMGs on here.
There are 6 rifles on here if you really needed
if you
to push
really
this.
wanted to push it. You've got 6 rifles.
But
it'll do you mid-war because that is an MG34, not 42, which is good that's being carried. Although
there's some things I don't recognise.
Also 34. There's some things you don't recognise.
Yeah, so we've got a grenade launcher, like a barrel grenade launcher, but it's not a barrel grenade launcher? Or is that just half of a gun or something?
So it is an anti-tank rifle, but it's got like a rifle grenade in it.
Yeah. That's what I
as opposed to just the kind of, they're normally about 13mm anti-tank rifles. They do the same thing. So the Germans run into KV and T-34. And they have Panzer IIIs and mostly 50mm anti-tank guns. And they have a problem.
Not a good mix.
No. So you see in 42 a lot of these kind of halfway house measures as they're bringing 75mm like Pak 40 into production. They're realising they need it in serial production. We need a lot of these.
Now, please.
What can we do now to improve the performance of our existing anti-tank equipment?
Gotcha.
And the answer is, we can fire an anti-tank grenade through it.
Yeah, okay.
Because they have one for the Pak 37. I think they might have one for the Pak 40. So like the 37mm anti-tank gun.
Yeah.
You'll see them, and the grenade's kind of sticking out the end, and it's like a blank charge that fires it, which is why it's a grenade, like a rifle grenade. And so this is similarly, to upgrade your anti-tank rifles.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's a great little weapon to see on there, because I've never actually seen one. I have read about their existence. or more importantly, the ammunition.
Very little on here has shocked me except that. Like, this is a great kit.
Yeah.
I think my favourite bit is the wall.
You like the bit, the little bit of wall that's going to be used.
As we know about veterans, they're the ones who survived, so they probably were behind the wall.
Absolutely true. You got some PPSHs on here as well.
Certainly do.
The manufactured numbers for German machine pistols in World War II are surprisingly small.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider that every NCO was supposed to have been issued with one, and every vehicle had one in it. It's actually designed as a vehicle personal defense weapon. Like there's one in every vehicle, right down the trucks. And when you see the numbers produced, like 100 and some thousand of a few different times, like that's not enough for just that.
Why would you bother though when the Russians are just dropping millions of PPSHs all over the place?
If you want to make an assault squad in Stalingrad, what you do is you pick up all them PPSHs that are lying around and you use them.
Yeah.
So it's good to see. If you've got a second SMG in a German squad, he didn't get issued with it at the depot. So it's nice to see they're giving you the Soviet ones because they did use them in large numbers.
Constantly.
The captured equipment, or I think it's Bauter, looted. It's the Germans that had looted equipment.
Yeah.
You have to. Most people don't use looted equipment in their army because they're supply issues. Is that if I pick up this rifle, I can't find any more bullets for it ever again. But the German army's advances in the Soviet Union in 1941 have them capturing about 2 million guys with all of their equipment.
Yeah.
So they have lots of ammunition for these guns. So they do issue them and they do get used. But yeah, so you've got, like you said, there's a plastic flamethrower on here.
Fantastic.
There's PPSHs,
anti-tank rifles,
SMG types. I think there's a couple of assault rifles on here as well.
Don't do that.
There's a guy.
MP40.
What's this? No.
It's a Papushka. PPSH.
Papushka. Yeah. I feel like I did see one originally, but maybe I'm wrong.
I actually don't see one on here at all. Well, that is very late war, isn't it? So
that is very late war, yeah. So maybe I'm wrong. I might check the key, because I have looked at this once before and I thought there was
If you're after
one
your Sturmgewehrs, this ain't the one. But it's on the other one, so...
Yeah. But the plastic flamethrower is a new thing. There's a few... There's people like attacking with an entrenching tool. Have you seen that?
I did see that.
With the right hand, which was nice. So yeah, these are really going to mix up. You've got someone carrying you've got the sentry type guy.
I just love this. This is great.
Yeah. And like they've been doing for a while with their newer equipment, all the kind of packs and mess tins. Each you've got several pieces here, but they're not identical sculpts.
No, even the shovels. One of them's got like a little knife on it. Another one's got a grenade strapped to the side. A couple of them like that. Even they're individualized.
Yes.
I don't know why you wouldn't, but
they're all personalized, and it's really going to make. So if you go for that historic kind of elite units, have nicer uniforms and so forth. But 20th century warfare is brutal.
Yeah.
And sort of American Civil War onwards. If you want a unit to look like veterans, you need to mess up their equipment and you need to personalise it.
They have preferences and they've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Is what you look like on the parade ground isn't. But there's no two pieces the same on here, is there?
No, God no.
It's a really, really nice thing. It's going to give you a really mixed up set of Germans. Now I believe, I just don't want to bet my house on it, but I believe I did test these when they came out, and not every arm in every case, but a lot of this is compatible with the other version of it.
18.
What are you looking at?
Someone's got a traffic wand.
Oh, so you can make a felt
gendarmerie.
Yeah. Does he get a little motorbike?
And he's got a hand as well, look. There's a fella on the packaging that actually got it.
No, so you got him doing it. Yeah. So lovely little kit. And I said the bit that's so good about this is that they didn't need to do it. They have existing figures that fulfill this role and this time period, but this just gives you so much more versatility. And then plastic flamethrower, fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And the plastic anti-tank rifle, and the plastic anti-tank rifle. Yeah, fantastic.
So the anti-tank rifle, so much. This is, again, although it's billed as a throughout the war thing, that's going to very much put it into the early to mid-war thing.
Gotcha.
Anti-tank rifles will go through the sides of early war tanks. but they leave a bullet-sized hole in them, which, if you hit a guy behind there, but in a later war, they're not even going to go through the sides. They largely disappear because they're quite bulky and they don't do very much when they get replaced with anti-tank rockets.
Yeah. Makes total sense. Even over here,
there's some goggles on there.
Yeah, you got a pair of goggles.
And that'd be for your flamer guy.
Yeah.
Or for your fell
Just 2 pairs of goggles.
Cool.
Double goggling up in here.
You know what we forgot to say as well, James?
Oh yeah, heads. Oh, there they are.
The heads are not on there; they're on here.
Yeah.
They're with the bases,
That's where
and
the
they
pouches
are. Yes.
Yeah, the gas cape pouches.
So there's
60
on here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 heads, 1 empty helmet. I assume it's not a headless soldier. Then you've got some MP40 ammo pouches, which again, they're not just straight.
No, they're not. They've all got their own shape.
They're all like a little bit. They're a little bit shaped, which is a nice function. And then these 3 pouches here. Now, my original. We had a bit of a look at this before we started.
We did.
Because I knew that very early war German soldiers have got some kind of thing here, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. And that these models don't have them sculpted on. Well, we looked them up, James. What is that little leather patch on the front of an early war German soldier?
It's for a gas cape, like a rubberized gas cape for nerve agents and World War I stuff, basically. Yeah. So it's for gas capes. Generally one here, it looks like a leather pouch. There are actually a few of them here. Yeah. So you can make those Blitzkrieg era. I mean, I think that's one of those pieces of equipment that soldiers quickly discarded if they didn't have another use for it. Because nobody was using gas. Yeah. You don't want to carry it if you don't have to, right? So you can
no, but you do. If you were in that era, you can still use these, which is really nice.
That's what the extra bases are for. There's like a little diorama for the Panzerbusch, like the rocket grenade thing. So they're popping it on a wall, and so that must be a piece of separate equipment.
Do that here.
Yeah. But no, on one of these. We've got a big boy. I think. Yeah, because there's 2 fellas on it side by side. So I think it's a completely separate piece of equipment.
Oh, right, so it's functioning as a separate piece of equipment. Yeah. That may be in the Armies of Germany book, which isn't out yet.
Oh. You didn't see it here first.
You didn't see
we spoke about
it. I didn't actually notice that this time. That's mounted on a weapons belt.
Yeah, it is.
But you make it from the plastic.
And they use 2 of the little walls. Look at them.
2 little walls. Look at that. Yeah, and you can do that for your machine gun and your mortar and all those bits. Oh. All right. As a box, value for money terms, you've got a full infantry box here and 2 vehicles. That would cover. That probably, are they £25 a vehicle now? Nearly £35 for box. So
not sure.
You're basically getting a couple of the weapons teams for free. Is what it is. As a starter, starting in the game of bolt action, is this what you want? I think so.
If you're especially interested in early war, I mean, we're taking the MiG, but if you love that 39 to 42 period, this is a great box. If you like later than that, then this is an unusual pick, but that stuff is fantastic and covers a lot of time. And these vehicles are definitely usable later, just edge cases.
And it's also important to remember that, like, bolt action is not a game to be taken too seriously by most people. There's plenty, and by actually the really competitive scene, they want a 1939 vehicle with a 1945 army. If it's possible to take it in the list and there's some points reason why it's good, then they're going to have it.
If I can have the giant gun on the Rapper tank for 20 less points, I'm going.
I'm going to go with it. Yeah. So, but you've got your HQ element, you've got potential spotter figures. Machine guns are a lot better in third than they were in second. I mean, they're brilliant, but they're better.
Usable.
Mortar's always good. A medium mortar. This cracking place to start.
It's a full army.
Yeah, and the new infantry sprue. It's the centerpiece of this box, and it deserves to be there. It's fantastic. If you're listening, Warlord, and you give a damn about what I think, I want to see this for every army.
Yeah.
With the American engineers, they'd done a similar thing.
Right.
They was like, we're going to do Rangers, but they're basically engineers, and they're basically guys in army uniforms with extra equipment.
Right, gotcha.
So that was kind of the beginning of this. Then they've done this, and I want to see some Russians. I want to see some Italians.
Some updated Russian sprues would be fantastic, please. Actually, no, while we've got you, do plastic fins, you cowards.
I think you wait a long time for that. They've only just done the metal ones.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right. Anyway, that was our thoughts. Great little box. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. So if you like bolt action and you're looking to start the system or start a new army, on our website modelingforadvantage.co.uk we have a range of the starter sets as well as a few of the starter armies. Do consider buying from us as a way of supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. Sound. Have you got your phone?
Audio test. Cock, balls. What?